Alright, things are looking good here. Hello everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here. And today, we are finally going to take down the main story here of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. It's been a long time coming, but we are finally ready to finish off this amazing game. Last time we were focusing on taking care of one of the biggest and one of my personal favorite quests in this game, and we managed to finish off a lot of the tasks we needed before wrapping up this adventure. We have pretty much every piece of heart we can collect in the land of Termina, every single piece of equipment upgrade that we were able to get, every mask that we could find around the world. There's just one last thing that I wanted to take care of before we finally get started on the endgame. And it involves this item that we get as part of the Anju and Kafei's storyline. So this item is tied to getting one of two different items you can get. However, you are incapable of getting both of them in the same cycle. You have to repeat the story beats of the entire quest line in two different cycles if you want to get every reward you can get, thanks to this item. With that said, this probably is like my least favorite collectible in the entire game, just because it has you repeating a very lengthy story quest twice in order to do this. But, you know, after everything we've been through, it really ultimately doesn't matter much. So we managed to make it all the way this far, at the very least. But yeah, we are back here at the milk bar, as we want to talk to Madame Aroma, the woman who kick-started this quest in the first place. Oh dear, you're the one searching for Kafei! How is it? Have you found him? Let's give her the letter. Oh dear, priority mail! This is from Kafei, correct? Correct? Wonderful! You really are an expert! Yes, I'm sorry. My thanks. Yes, it is your job after all. So by delivering this letter to Madame Aroma, we get a bottle of Chateau Romani. And with that, we were able to get the final bottle in the game. You delivered a son's sentiment to his mother. This was added to your notebook. I'm sorry. At this point in time, I can give you only something like this. I actually want to give this to you sooner. Really? But yep, we're able to close off this part of the storyline by giving Madame Aroma closure as to the whereabouts of her son. And with that, we did get a pretty darn useful item. Honestly, just looking at the amount of bottles you're able to get over the course of this adventure, I personally don't think you need 6 bottles in order to finish the game. Like, the only time I really recommend going after the bottles is to get 4 of them in order to clear up the pirate fortress on your first visit to that area. But besides that, you really don't need the other 2 bottles. But doesn't really matter now, because this is still a very worthwhile thing we're able to get here right before the end. So the Chateau Romani you are able to purchase at the milk bar for 200 rupees. And we're going to go ahead and gulp this down, as doing so will now give us a permanent upgrade to our magic for the remainder of this day cycle. So yep, we now have basically infinite magic, which is going to be very instrumental to the next couple of things we want to do here in the endgame. Besides that, there's really not much else we need to worry about here in Clock Town or the surrounding areas. We've already basically taken care of every last thing we needed to do. Besides checking out this place, but it really isn't important for any of the main quest objectives. It's basically just there in order to supplement your journey. I think all you get from the lottery shop is rupees anyway, which I've already shown a lot of different ways you're able to grind up rupees over the course of the adventure, so it's really not too much trouble. Kinda weird that we can just go into the shop here at this hour. Sorry, Mr. Scarecrow, but there's no other reason for us to talk to you. Yeah, in order for us to take on the endgame stuff we need to in Majora's Mask, all we gotta do is wait until midnight. Pretty much everyone has already left Clock Town due to the moon coming down. There's not much else that we need to worry about. So by this point in your adventure, you should have every single collectible that can be found in the land of Hyrule. So you should have every single one of your main items. You should have 6 bottles. You should have completely cleared the Bomber's Notebook. You should have all the songs. Every single boss remains you get from clearing the temples. You should have the fully upgraded sword, the fully upgraded quiver, the fully upgraded bomb bag, the mirror shield, and all of the masks that could be found all across this area. Except for one, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. It's hard to believe we've already managed to come so far in our journey here. Cowards! All of you! Not a one of you stayed! My apprentice will be disgusted with all of you! I'll have a fine carnival without you! You're gonna fall? Then fall already! So in the end, this man has chosen to stay here defiantly, even against such a grim omen above us. I don't know whether if it's out of bravery or because there's nothing else for him in this world. God, the vibes of this game, especially when you're in the final day, just feels very grim and... well, what more is there to really be said after everything we've experienced on this journey so far? So much pain, so much sorrow, but also a lot of joy and comfort. And in the end, we come to the final hour. So back when we first entered the world of Termina, we came here to the Clock Tower in order to try and stop the Skull Kid. But equipped as we were, we had no hope of actually being able to stop him. We could merely retrieve our ocarina and use it to reset time back to the start of the 3-day cycle. But now, after everything we have been through in our adventure, we have everything we need in order to stop this calamity once and for all. So I'm going to go ahead and equip the ocarina and probably go for the bow. So let's head back to the top. There's nothing left for us to do in this world but take on the mastermind behind this calamity. Sis! Tail! Swamp, mountain, Ocean, Canyon, hurry, the 4 who are there. Bring them here.
Don't speak out of line, stupid fairy!
That's it! I won't let things go the way you expect them to.
Well, whatever. Even if they were to come now, they wouldn't be able to handle me. Just look above you. If it's something that can be stopped, then just try to stop it.
So when we first started this journey, we had nothing in order to stop the Skull Kid. However, we learned from the giants that we were able to save that there was one way we could be able to stop this. I'm trying to remember what we need to do. Nice. There we go. After we cleared the first temple, we learned this song, The Oath to Order.
Huh? Wait, what's that noise? It can't be!
No!
Not them! I thought I imprisoned them in the temples! What's going on? No! No!
So you're able to have this event happen as soon as you manage to acquire the Oath to Order. If you return to the Clock Tower, you'll be able to summon the giants. However, this scene is different depending on how many temples you actually manage to clear. If you have only cleared 1 to 3 temples, then this scene will end with the giants being unable to stop the moon from falling. However, since we managed to clear all 4 temples, excuse me. God, I always really like the design of the giants. They're just so bizarre with their proportions, but it still fits the just the fantastical setting that this land is. In the end, thanks to our efforts, the giants were able to stop the moon. As we heard in the story from Anju's grandmother, the giants are the guardian deities of this land. Each of them dwelling in one of the 4 regions of Termina, eventually waiting someone to call them in order to request their aid. And with all 4 of them together, we were able to stop this calamity. It stopped!
We did it! It stopped! Sis! Tail!
Good. We made it in time. The giant's call worked on the Skull Kid.
Hey, Skull Kid! Do you realize what you've been doing to everyone?
Wait, sis, don't. Don't be so hard on the Skull Kid.
Tail, why are you protecting him? Aren't you mad at him for hitting you so much?
He was lonely. The Skull Kid.
He was trying to destroy everything around him. That's not the same as a lonely child. We can't allow that! The power of the mask made him do it. It was too much for the Skull Kid to handle. It's 'cause he doesn't know his place. On top of having a weak will and no strength of heart, he's a fool. Certainly. He had far too many weaknesses to use my power. Yeah, that's right. Admit your stupidity. Huh? A puppet that can no longer be used is mere garbage. This puppet's role has just ended. It can't be! Then that moon!
Oh boy.
I shall consume everything!
Ah! This isn't good! Let's go back! Let's go back! Hurry! The Song of Time! The Song of Time! Aw, no! You've gotta be kidding! Don't tell me you're going up there! I won't do it. You go by yourself. I'm staying here with Tail. I'll go. What? What are you saying, Tail? Is something wrong with you? I don't always want to be running away. If only I'd been stronger, the Skull Kid wouldn't have... I understand. I'll go. After all this time, Tail, you've gotten really stubborn. Just like someone else I know. You know, you guys are really stupid.
Welcome to the final area of the game. We're now inside of the moon. Quite different from what we would expect from such a monster, wouldn't you say? It's definitely very ethereal and dreamlike in here. Considering that everything we have been through throughout this adventure, yeah, I'd say it fits pretty well. So all throughout this area, we got some kids wandering around wearing the masks of the various bosses that we have defeated over the course of our journey. Sitting under the tree is a kid wearing Majora's mask. If you talk to him, that will initiate the final battle of the game. However, we're not going to interact with him just yet. Instead, let's talk to these other kids. Ah, nice weather, isn't it? Masks. You have a lot. You too. Will you be a mask salesman? Then I'll play with you. So, the masks. Give me some. We have the option of giving our masks away to the children here. So you're only able to give them the masks that you have collected in this adventure, besides the Deku, Goron, and Zora mask. Those are the only ones we can't give. Start by giving the Odolwa kid the postman's hat. Thanks. You're a nice person, aren't you? Hide and seek. Let's play. Alright, I'll hide. So we got ourselves one last challenge before we face the final boss here. Well, you could just take on the final boss at this point if you want, but I want to go after every last thing we can in this area, and it's actually quite a bit to see through here. This first chamber we have to go through is based on Woodfall Temple, and there's quite a bit we're able to see in this area. So namely, we have all of these Sheikah stones that we're able to check with the Mask of Truth. And they can give us a few hints about various things in this world. It seems the Gorman brothers were using Garo's mask for ill will. So yeah, this area basically exists to give you hints about various stuff that you can do that could be easily missed, such as encounters with people who could give you masks. So that obviously tells you that the Gorman brothers hold the Garo mask. Yeah, just quite the interesting place for us to be here. Not gonna read what every Sheikah stone in this area says, but it will be neat to call out a few others. Seems Cremia, the owner of Romani Ranch, has Romani's mask. Yeah, just kind of a last-minute way of being able to tell you where to find all of the masks that are scattered throughout this land. As obviously you would need to collect all of the masks in order to be able to access some of the later big rewards in this area. But yeah, quite the interesting place to be here. Just really wasn't expecting the first time going through this game that we would be entering an area like this inside of the moon. It's quite the interesting contrast compared to everything else we have experienced. And while we're going through this area, I did wanted to bring up some other things that I wanted to discuss throughout this adventure that I hadn't previously gone over. So one that it is important to note, I said before that this game has a lot of very similar feels to stories like Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz, which are all about children being whisked away into this mysterious and very fantastical old dreamlike place. And this game definitely has that vibe very strongly. In fact, it's because of those vibes that a lot of players have a certain theories as to just what is going on with Termina. Like, what exactly is this place? And one of the strongest theories out there is that Termina isn't actually a real place, but rather an illusion world created by the power of Majora's mask. So we're able to acquire a piece of heart by going over here. So we got ourselves a piece of heart that we can find in each of the main sections of this area. So be sure to look out for them. Faye and Andrew had the couple's mask. That they did. But yeah, it's commonly said by the fan base that the land of Termina is not a real place, but rather a creation of Majora's mask. And in a way, you would kind of... It's like, based on that specific thing, it would... For a lot of people, it would kind of make things a bit more dour with the storyline here of implying, like, if this world isn't really real, then what's the point of anything and even helping out these people? But, like, the people that inhabit Termina, even if they're all part of an illusion, they still feel real. And I'm just trying to help them out, even if their world is ultimately just part of some great illusion. It still feels good because they feel so realized and that they are... that they do feel like real people, you know? Also, it's very debatable whether or not Termina is an illusion or whether it's a real place. Like, even official sources can't keep things straight about that regard. I mean, you could definitely read into that this area could be an illusion, especially because it reuses a lot of characters from Ocarina of Time that wouldn't make sense for them to be here in the different contexts. Just look at Kome and Kotake. They were antagonists back in Ocarina of Time working for Ganondorf, and in here they're just humble little potion shopkeepers. So yeah, that definitely adds a lot more of context to what's actually going on around here, if that theory is actually true.
Thanks. You're nice. Can I ask a question? Your friends, what kind of people are they? I wonder, do those people think of you as a friend?
Oh man, that's certainly been something that I have considered from time to time. Like, you never really know for certain just what people truly feel about you. That is a perspective that you wouldn't be able to readily know. Alright, so next kid we're gonna talk to. How about we talk to Georg Kid?
Ah, nice weather, isn't it? Masks. You have a lot. Will you be a mask salesman? I'll play with you. So, the masks. Give me some.
So this kid is gonna want free masks. So we'll give him the Blast Mask, the Stone Mask, and the Great Fairy Mask.
More.
More!
Thanks. You're a nice person, aren't you? Hide and seek. Let's play.
So now we take on the Georg Challenge. So this one, honestly, isn't too bad. We got ourselves a underwater maze themed around the Great Bay Temple. Simply gotta put on our Zora mask and head into the tunnels here. Now there is a specific path that you'll want to go through in this area if you want to try and get the good thing in this area. So I believe I've taken the right path here. So just behind that Sheikah stone, we're able to get the piece of heart. Yeah, if you simply go left, left, right, and left, that will be the path that leads to the... That's the path that leads to the piece of heart you can get in this chamber. But yeah, that's not the only path we can take through here. And I don't quite know the exact path we need to take to get to the end here. So I'm just going to try and see if we can get the right path here. Nope, that doesn't look like the right way. It is kind of interesting just... It's obviously been a long time since I played through this section, and I don't quite remember the exact path you need to take through here. Let's try going right first, and then we'll take left. Then we'll go right. And I think I'm gonna go right again. Unless we are... Nope, that's not the end either. Yeah, this one is always very confusing because of the exact paths you need to take through here. While I'm just going through this section, what's some other things I can mention pertaining to this game? Now, a bit of an interesting thing specifically with the NPCs we've encountered in this area. So the kids with the masks that you see around the moon are quite interesting in their appearance, as their models are actually very similar to that of the happy mask salesman we encountered at the start of our journey. Yeah, for whatever reason, they just bear a very striking resemblance to him. Don't really get the overall implications there. But given a lot of the things that we do see and know regarding this particular person, it does lend to some interesting theories. So, obviously the interior of the moon is definitely a creation of Majora, given everything else that we have seen throughout this area. And one thing that I would believe is that obviously the Happy Mask salesman has an interest in Majora's Mask, since he obviously went to a lot of trouble to acquire it. and he's obviously requested that we retrieve it for him after it was stolen by the Skull Kid. One thing that I would like to theorize is that Majora's Mask was said to have been created by a tribe for use in their hexing rituals, and the Happy Mask salesman bears a striking resemblance to the children we see inside of the moon, which is a creation of Majora's Mask. So, what I would theorize is that possibly the Happy Mask salesman is actually a descendant of the tribe that first created Majora's Mask. And that he, of course, is aware of the great power that the mask contains, and possibly wants to acquire it for his own reasons. Of course, what he intends to do with the mask is a complete unknown. We don't really know his intentions. We just know that he acquired the mask and holds it of great importance and is aware of what its power is. So whether or not he intends to use the mask for wicked purposes, or if he just wants to contain the mask so that no one else can abuse it for their own gain, it's left entirely up in the air. You can definitely read into a lot of different things regarding that particular storyline. And also with that said regarding the mask and the tribe that originally created it, just what is Majora and Majora's Mask? As we saw before that the incredible power of the mask was able to ultimately it was able to take control of the Skull Kid and use him in order to act out his dark desires. Oh, there we go. Finally got out of the Georg room. I have personal theories with regards to that, and I feel like a lot of people also have very similar opinions. And that Majora was originally the leader of this order that created masks in order to use their dark power in order to curse people, and that Majora's Mask was created by the head of their village as like the ultimate mask, containing like the ultimate dark powers, and that possibly Majora transplanted like a part of his essence or his soul into his mask so that he could continue his work even after death. Kind of like a similar thing like with Sauron in the Lord of the Rings series, how he is bound to the One Ring in that way. So it's definitely a lot of interesting things you could possibly theorize regarding just who the original Majora was, as well as the mask. Thanks, you're nice. Can I ask a question? The right thing. What is it? I wonder. If you do the right thing, does it really make everybody happy? That's also a very loaded question there. Sometimes you can try to do the right thing for someone, and they will not respond in the way that you expect. Trust me, I work in retail. I've definitely seen a lot of that. Alright, so we just got 2 more kids to interact with here. So let's talk to... let's talk to you, the Twin Mole Kid. Ah, nice weather, isn't it? Masks. You have a lot. Then I'll play with you. So the masks, give me some. Alright, so this kid is gonna ask for 4 masks. So we're gonna be giving him quite a bit. We'll start with Don Giro, then the Mask of Sense, and Romani's mask, and then just one more to do. Yeah, we'll end off with Circus Leader's mask. It's pretty much the most useless mask in the game. Alright, so now Twin Mold Kid will be putting us through another challenge. So this is gonna be an interesting area to go through. We we got ourselves a series of different challenges here. Starting with a combat segment against a Danalphos. So we're gonna go ahead and equip our best weapon we got, the Great Fairy Sword here. Let's take this sucker out. Ow, come on. Alright, I got her a lot of health, so we don't need to worry too much about this. Alright, the Dinalphos goes down, and the way forward is opened. That gets herself another one of these things. You know, since we're just along the way, we'll go ahead and read what you have to say. Seems the one cursed by the strange sparkling gold spiders had the Mask of Truth. Yeah, we know that. We need the Mask of Truth just to be able to, you know, interact with you. So now we got ourselves the return of the Garo Master. And he is also haunting this area, apparently. Or, of course, he is a illusion created by Majora like the other trials we are seeing here. So it's not really the Garo Master, just another one of Majora's illusions meant in order to halt our progress. Ow. Yeah, this sword really isn't too good at blocking opponents, so just get out of here. So now that the Garo Master is taken out, we're able to acquire whatever is up here. Simply need to hookshot our way up to get to this chest. That contains a bundle of arrows. Alright, that's pretty good for now. I just want to check this room to make absolutely sure we've done everything we need here. And we got another one of these we can interact with. It seems his mother, Madame Aroma, had Cafe's mask. And at the end here, we got ourselves another opponent, an Iron Knuckle. It's been a while since we've seen one of these guys. Really not too bad, especially since we have the Great Fairy Sword, because it does so much damage. Should easily be able to handle an Iron Knuckle. Alright, I'm taking a few hits here, but we should be fine. Got ourselves a couple potions and a fairy. Besides, I was mostly preparing for the battle against Majora, not so much everything else. So by dealing with that guy, we're able to get Bombchu. So I was able to stock up on Bombchu earlier before this session, just to make sure we are prepared for what we have to do here. But yeah, that's a pretty important hint for what we gotta do. Because as you can see, there's no way we can go up here. However, there's a section of the wall that is cracked. So what we gotta do here is place a Bombchu and have it explode in order to break that open. It's very good we're able to get that on the first bomb. And then we can simply shoot this switch. And that provides us with a way up. Very good. So now we've taken care of that. Got ourselves another piece of heart. And we only have one more to do. For this area, as you can obviously tell, we got another Bombchu related room. This one we got to make it explode right on the ceiling there. If I remember correctly, this is actually the first time in the game where Bombchu are required in order to make progress in the game. So, yeah, kind of weird that they would place this so late into the adventure. It is pretty darn weird. You found me. I want more masks. So once again, he's gonna ask for 4 masks. Yeah, we can give the Mask of Truth at this point. We really have no other use for this thing. course, the couple and cafe's mask, which were very important for us to get. And then we'll give you the Bob mask.
You're nice. Can I ask a question? Your true face. What kind of face is it? I wonder, the face under the mask. Is that your true face?
I mean, metaphorically speaking, we all have our masks that we wear in order to get through certain situations. So yeah, that's definitely another one that rings true. Especially for myself, given a lot of developments over the last couple of years. Man. And now, there's only one more kid to talk to. Nice weather, isn't it? You have a lot. Then I'll play with you. So the masks give me some. And for Goat Kid, he is gonna request 2 masks. So we'll give him the giant mask and Captain Kita's. I wanted to save this kid for last for one very special reason. So this area, in my opinion, is actually one of the toughest challenges to do in this game. Like, I've been playing this game so much, and this area still gives me so much trouble. So obviously, this segment is based on Snowhead Temple. So we gotta use our Goron mask in order to navigate this area. And here is what makes this interesting. We got ourselves these tricky platforms here that we needed to get across. So you will bounce off of these chests along here. And yeah, this whole segment is based around just trying to navigate through this area in the Goron form. Just being very careful through here. Especially because of just how just how much speed you're able to build up here. It can be quite intense. Also be careful of the teleporters you see around here, because those will actually warp you back to the start of this area, which is obviously not very good for us. Thinking about the path we need to take. So that door over there is our ultimate exit. However, there is somewhere else we need to get to if we want to get the final big reward in this place. And we need to build up enough power to get over here. Yeah, this last room is very tricky, which is why I tend to save it for last out of all of the moon challenges in this game. Alright. We're able to get over here. So I want to study this part so I have a good idea on what we're going to do next. If we simply go across here, we should be fine. Alright, Darmani, give me strength. Just need to blast over here. Very... Oh, I don't know if we have enough strength to get over here. We just barely might have enough room to do this. Alright, there we go. We're able to blast across there and get ourselves the final piece of heart in the game. So with that, we now have 20 hearts, which is as much as we're able to get in this adventure. Which, combined with the health upgrade we got from clearing Great Bay Temple, that means we now have as much health as we can in this adventure. We are looking pretty good. And of course, we got one last path to take here. Be very careful of that teleporter. Just wanna blast over here, and we are done. Oh man, I can't believe I got through that first try. This area usually gives me so much trouble, and I'm stuck here for so flippin' long. But with that, we have completed the goat room. I want more masks. Of course you do. So take these mummified remains and a guy who likes to dance. Can I ask a question? You. What makes you happy? I wonder, what makes you happy? Does it make others happy too? Well, some people enjoy the things that I enjoy, but other people do not find happiness in things that bring me happiness, and you know what? That's okay. I really do like the segments here with these masked children asking you these questions, and it really makes you think about a lot of stuff. It is quite fascinating to me. With all that taken care of, we have now given away every last mask that we acquired on our journey, besides these free. So doing so is going to unlock something pretty good for us. So what I would recommend doing now, equip yourself with the best things you have in your arsenal. Guess we gotta have Deku Nuts. I'm really not expecting to have anything else in that final slot. Just the Great Fairy Sword and Light Arrows are going to be integral for this next segment. Alright. So after talking with all of the other children in this area, let's talk to the Majora child.
Everyone has gone away, haven't they? Will you play with me?
Sure.
You don't have any masks left, do you? Well, let's do something else. Let's play good guys against bad guys. Yes, let's play that.
So you got the Fierce Deity's mask. Could this mask's dark powers be as bad as Majora? So this is your ultimate reward for collecting every last mask in the world of Termina and completing all of the trials set by the masked kids here in the moon. This is the ultimate transformation mask, giving you the most powerful form you can possibly be, having the greatest attack power out of anything we can possibly do in this game. For the time being, I am not going to use this mask, but maybe a little bit later this month, I might upload a video showcasing this mask in greater detail. But for now,
are you ready? You're the bad guy, and when you're bad, you just run. That's fine, right? Well, shall we play?
we finally made it. Majora's Mask. No subtitle necessary for this thing. Remember your battles. When something resistant would deflect your attacks, what was its backside usually like? Majora's Mask, the final boss of this game. This boss can be really intimidating. Definitely be careful against this guy. He will try to spin and try to ram at you, but just keep moving and you should be fine. It's also got all those tentacles coming from the back of it that will try to whip you with. I actually think locking onto this thing isn't really the best call to make here. Just do what you think is right against this thing. Block its attacks when it comes near, wait for it to slow down, and then strike it from behind with the light arrows. This is why I recommend grabbing the Chateau Romani before this fight, because it is so good at being able to give you all the magic you need to take this thing out. Oh, it's coming again. So yeah, this thing is been the puppet master throughout this entire adventure, commanding the Skull Kid in order to do its wicked bidding. as was established before, Majora's Mask was created for wicked purposes, eventually gaining sentience itself. This is a very simple but effective villain. The only thing it cares about is death and destruction. It cannot be reasoned with. It cannot be delayed. It is just pure, unadulterated evil. One of the most evil entities in the entire Zelda canon. Alright, we're able to stun it there. Once it's stunned, go for big attacks with the sword, like jump attacks. After doing enough damage, the remains of the bosses we have previously faced will then come to try and attack us. They will try to shoot energy blasts at you in order to distract you. Simply strike them with light arrows, and you should be good. In this part, Majora will also try to shoot lasers from you. Alright, looks like we were able to take out Adolwa's mask. You can also deflect the laser Majora fires in order to either stun it or the other masks. It's very similar to how things were with the witches back in Ocarina of Time. Alright, Alright, we're able to stun Majora using that. Very good. And get out. Come on. Can we not lock on, because that's really affecting the process there. Alright, let's just take out Georg. There we go. And then just gotta deflect the beam back at Majora, wherever you are. Yeah, this part can be tricky if you're not prepared for it, but it's really not that bad. Just wait for Majora to fire the laser and then shoot it back at the beast. Alright, it's got another laser attack. Just aim the beam right at him, and we are good. So we have defeated the mask. So what comes next?
This form bores me. This one is more to my liking.
Majora's incarnation. So the demon has now taken on a more humanoid appearance. This thing is definitely the most chaotic enemy we have seen so far in this journey. It moves around erratically, just dancing and doing all kinds of stuff. It's got a few attacks that can be pretty tricky, but ultimately it's not too bad. Just stun it with light arrows, and then hack at it with the sword.
Ah! You little pest! I am going to crush you until nothing remains.
Now, behold true destruction!
Majora's Wrath, the demon's ultimate form. This thing is such a monster. Just love the design. And of course, it's fitting with a monster bent around just torture. It uses whips as its main weapons. God, just what a monster. I love this thing's design so much. Just really has the embodiment of just pure, unadulterated evil in this final form. Its whip attacks can get really painful, so just be sure to avoid and just strike it when you can. Use light arrows to stun it, then hack away at it with your sword. Once you damage it enough, it will send tops at you. Yeah, turning a toy into a weapon. This really embodies the sick and twisted nature of this monster and how it toys with the lives of others. eventually just turning toys themselves into weapons that it can use. Now, so yeah, that's why you want to stun this thing. Otherwise, it will just kick you if you try to get close. Ow! Stop it! Alright, can we please hit this thing? Come on, we almost got you here. There we go. Come on. We almost got you. Ow. Man, those tops can really be a pain. We almost got you. Ow. Come on. Ow. Stop it. I shouldn't have expected shouldn't have expected things to be easy against this monster. Especially with playthings going all over the place. We should be done here. There we go. No! There can't be so much more fun I could have done! With that, we have destroyed the demon as well as the source of its power. So no more will Termina have to deal with this monstrosity anymore. Dawn of a new day. We have finally broken out of the time loop.
Ah! He's awake!
Ah, my head.
You guys, you hadn't forgotten about me? You still thought of me as a friend?
Remember the story from Anju's grandmother. The Skull Kid was the very imp who was friends with the giants, but his mischief caused them to threaten him, and he thought that they didn't care about him anymore, when really they were looking out for the well-being of everyone else. And ultimately, they still cared about their friend enough.
Hmm? Did you save me? I thought they didn't want to be friends with me. But they hadn't forgotten about me. Friends are a nice thing to have. Could you be my friend too? You have the same smell as the fairy kid who taught me that song in the woods. I I know! Let's do something!
Oh, so the evil has left the mask after all.
Huh?
Well now, I finally have it back! Since I'm in the midst of my travels, I must bid you farewell. Shouldn't you be returning home as well? Whenever there's a meeting, a parting is sure to follow. However, that parting need not last forever. Whether a parting be forever, or merely for a short time, that is up to you. With that, please excuse me. But my, you sure have managed to make quite a number of people happy. The masks you have are filled with happiness. This is truly a good happiness. So the masked salesman has finally reclaimed Majora's mask, now that it has been stripped of its demonic power.
Well, both of us have gotten what we were after, so this is where you and I part ways, isn't it? You know, it was kind of fun. Well, it's almost time for the carnival to begin. So why don't you just leave and go about your business? The rest of us have a carnival to go to. Hayden! Thank you.
Aw, she really did come to care for us in the end. So one last thing I want to say before giving my closing thoughts. That line that the Skull Kid says regarding Link earlier basically confirms that he is the very same Skull Kid that we meet in Ocarina of Time. The one that we teach him Saria's song to in order to get a piece of heart. So, you know, that's another fun little detail. But yep, that was Majora's Mask. One of my favorite games in the Zelda series, and one of my favorite games, period. I just have so much respect for this game, so much for what it did. Taking the standard Zelda formula and taking it in a very interesting direction. Like, I know that the 3-day time limit can seem very daunting and challenging to some, but when you really understand how the mechanics work, how the various NPC schedules work, and how to make the most out of your time in the game, it's really not that daunting. And man, the way this game makes use of the time mechanics, it's just so incredible. I think it really handles the entire time loop mechanic and being able to get acquainted with everyone's schedules. It just does it so well, and just one of my favorite things to do when going through this game is just seeing all of the different things I'm able to get done within a single 3-day schedule. And like I said before, it's actually really not that bad because the inverted Song of Time gives you so much more time in order to do various tasks. And during the time you spend in this game, you get to meet a lot of very fun characters. You get to see a lot of returning faces from Ocarina in an entirely new light. You get to also meet a lot of new faces here, as we got to saw with the friendly Deku NPCs. And, God, just all the storylines in this game, they really come together very well in order to make just such a grand adventure. Like, in order to beat the main story, you can just go for the main 4 temples and just go straight to the end game. But you miss out on so much additional content by doing so. Like, you could go for the temples without gathering the stray fairies. You don't have to interact with the people of Clocktown at all if you want to just focus on main story events. You don't really need to help out at the ranch outside of doing that one challenge with Romani in order to get Epona. But man, you really just get so much satisfaction out of completing all of these objectives and helping to make the lives of these people a little bit better in the face of this looming disaster. And at the end of the day, we have managed to break free through the 3-day cycle that Majora had put this land under. And now these people can move on with their lives. And sure, whether or not Termina is an illusion or not, this world still feels real, and you really do feel a lot of satisfaction from helping out all of these people in their storylines. And of course, the other mechanics of this game are great too. Just exploring this land, the combat's still as good as it was in Ocarina. Getting the upgrades to the arrows over the course of the dungeons, I feel is just a very cool spin on the typical acquiring an item from a dungeon mechanic. God, I just am full of things I can say about this game. Like, it has a much more dark and dire tone compared to a lot of other Zelda games, but it serves the story so incredibly well and makes the happier moments feel all the more rewarding. Like we're seeing right now. Now that the 3-day cycle has been broken, Anju and Kafei can finally get married, and after all of the pain they went through over the course of the story, God, this moment here makes me feel so happy. Even though they don't actually give Kafei a model for him returning to his adult form, yeah, they didn't bother giving him one here, and that's pretty funny. And of course, this game gave us Tingle, easily one of the most iconic secondary characters in all of Zelda. But despite everything we did, there's still a lot of people we couldn't save. The Deku Kid, Darmani, Mikau, they still lost their lives because of Majora's influence. And those lives will never be returned. And what about Link? He started off this journey looking for Navi, who left him at the ending of Ocarina of Time. And his journey ends with him continuing that quest. And sadly, this iteration of Link doesn't exactly have the happiest ending for anyone who is familiar with some developments given from later games as well as supplementary material. But we were still able to make a difference here in Termina, and we've even managed to give the Skull Kid a new friend that he can treasure. And yep, that is the end of this journey. And basically, this is the end for our Majora's Mask streams here. Now, this isn't quite the end. I still do want to do a video detailing the fierce deity mask we got at the end of the game for acquiring all the masks and doing the trials on the moon. And then there's also another idea I had for a stream session that I would really like to do before the end of this year. So yeah, I am definitely going to be very happy to get started on those pretty soon. And then of course I've got the VODs for my Pokemon Soul Silver Nuzlocke that I'm going to be uploading to YouTube over the next couple of weeks. And then, starting in 2026, I'm going to be returning to a game I initially was streaming on Twitch in order to finally deal with some unfinished business there. So I hope that you're all excited for that when it inevitably comes out. Thank you for joining me for these streams. And I will see you very soon for what's coming next on this channel. Until next time, have a good day and take care. And have a Merry Christmas.